So in today's session, we are hoping to cover quite a lot. As I said, we're going to help you identify where you are in your career journey. So you could be in your final year of your undergraduate degree, you could be in your one-year master's degree, you could be coming to the end of your PhD. Whatever it is, we will try and help you identify where you are. And then when you know where you are, you're able to decide what actions you need to take from there. We're also going to go through a couple of tips to help you search for and apply for graduate opportunities, whether that's graduate schemes or graduate entry-level roles as well. The session touches a little bit on further study, but it's not specifically about further study. So if you do have any queries about PhDs or masters, feel free to ask them in the Q&A. But you know, we have specific sessions around that as well. So we'll also give you some practical advice from when you decide where you are, where you want to be, and the steps that you can take to get there. And we also have a panel of recent graduates as well, a selection of 2019 and 2020 graduates who will share their perspectives and experiences and insights as recent graduates, and what they perhaps did in their final year that really helped them, or perhaps what they wish they did now that they have the benefit of hindsight. And there will be an option for a Q&A at the end, so you have plenty of time to ask questions throughout. So just before we get started, a little note on our equality, diversity and inclusion policies. So here at the Career Service, we are very aware that people have different experiences of graduate selection processes, particularly when it comes to graduate jobs. And we're here to offer impartial, expert advice, regardless of who you are, or where you come from, or how you identify. So if you do want a little more information about our equality, diversity and inclusion initiatives, please do have a look on the website there, and you can find more information. So just an overview of what we're going to cover. So we split the session into three main areas: reflect, action, and I think it's alumni. Oh, I thought it was explore. So as I said, we're going to start with helping you identify where you are at the moment, at the beginning of your final year, and then we'll move on to action. We'll help you develop that practical plan of action that you can take to get to where you want to be. And then we've got our alumni panel at the end, and included in that you will hear from them, but also have a chance to ask them and myself any questions that you might have too. So moving on. So as you see, as we go through this session today, there are a lot of slides with hyperlinks to different resources. So it does act as a resource book, sort of like a workbook, as well as a presentation. So it's really important that you please do register your attendance. So if you're listening on your laptop or iPad or computer, feel free to scan the QR code there with your phone. Sammy has also kindly put in the chat the bit.ly link to register your attendance. When you register your attendance, this means that we can not only keep your Career Connect record up to date, but we can send you the slides from today's session. So you will get them by the end of the day. So please do register so we can send you through everything. And then it's just much easier to access the resources. So I'm just going to move on from this slide now, but it is in the chat box too. So before we get stuck in, let's have a think about where you are at the minute. So this will only take a couple of minutes, and it's just a little bit of reflection time for yourself. It's not that interactive. So we've split sort of the career decision-making journey into three main areas. So firstly, we've got explore. So perhaps you're ready to explore, but you maybe haven't started thinking about what you want to do after your degree yet. Maybe you're sort of burying your head in the sand a little bit and you think, you know what, I just want to get through university and think about that after. That's okay. It's just identifying if you're at that stage. Maybe you're one step further and you're ready to maybe think about what you want to do, which I imagine a lot of you are at that stage because you're at a session like this. So you're maybe thinking about your skills and your strengths and what sort of roles you might enjoy doing, what sectors you might be interested in. And you're just really at that exploration stage where you're thinking, okay, let me talk to more people and find out a little bit more. You could be at the next phase, which is where you're ready to decide. So you've got your work experience, you've got some volunteering, and you just want to decide what you want to do after university now. So you could be at that stage. After explore, we have got prepare. So you could be looking for work experience or volunteering that will help you decide what you want to do next after university. You could be very set on what you want to do after university. Perhaps you want to pursue a career in the media, but you just need more work experience or volunteering to help you get there. So that would be the second stage, looking for experience to help you prepare. Or you're ready to start, but you're just not really sure where to go next. And that's absolutely fine as well. Many people are at that stage. And then sort of the final stage is the apply stage. So you're ready to start looking for and applying for further study, or you're ready to start your applications, your CV, your cover letters, your interviews for jobs. I imagine perhaps if you're interested in graduate schemes, it's graduate scheme season at the moment, so you probably are at the ready to apply jobs phase if you are currently applying for graduate schemes, and you could be already sorted. I can't imagine too many are in that stage at the moment because it's very early, and a lot of organisations haven't even begun to give out their graduate job offers yet. But perhaps you maybe always knew that you want to do a PhD or a master's, and you've already got that sorted, and really you're just coming along to this session to find out a little bit more information about how you can boost your employability throughout your degree. Your final year of your degree. So I'm just going to launch this poll now. So on your screen there, I've just asked you, at what stage do you think you're at the moment? So have you maybe not started thinking about it yet? Are you ready to explore? Are you ready to decide? Are you looking for experience to help you decide? Are you looking for experience to help you prepare? Maybe you're just not sure. Maybe you're ready to just get stuck in with those applications and you're ready to look for masters or PhDs. Maybe you're ready to look for graduate schemes or graduate jobs, and maybe you're just sorted and you're just here to find out a little bit more about what you can do to boost your employability. So we've got that's great, we've got nearly 70% of you participated so far. Let's see where we're at. Oh, that's great. This also helps me see where you're at, so I can tailor the workshop as we go on to try and support you in a more tailored and personalized way. Okay, so we've got over 80% of you that have participated so far. So I'm going to end the poll and just see where you're at. Okay, end poll. Okay, so let's have a look. So almost a quarter of you are ready to apply for jobs, which is fantastic. And that is, to be expected if you're at a workshop like this. A fifth of you are ready to decide. So you're ready to start embarking on work experience and volunteering to help you decide what comes next. The next popular is ready to explore. So you're ready to get that work experience to find out what you enjoy doing, what your skills and your strengths are, and that will help you with your next phase. We've got quite a lot looking for experience to prepare. So you've got a career in mind, but you're just looking for that experience to help, boost your CV and your application. A couple of you haven't started thinking yet or aren't sure. That's absolutely fine. And we've got a couple of people that are sorted as well, which is great. Okay, that's fantastic. Thank you. So let's move on. So we're going to go through each stage one by one. Even if you're not at the stage that I'm talking about, please do tune in, because you might say, even if you're in the prepare stage, which is phase 3, you might find lots of useful information in phases 1 and 2 that you maybe haven't got round to yet, and you can think, okay, I'll do that, and that will help me as well. So Tools to help you explore. So when you're at the exploration stage, you're really finding out more about yourself and your skills and strengths and preferred ways of working and how that can match to different career paths. Throughout this presentation, when I talk about careers, I mean your next, the next 1 to 2 years after graduation, what you'll be doing in that time, because as you go through your graduate career, what you want and your skills and what you want out of work will develop over time. So what you want now might look very different to what you want out of a job in 5 years' time or 10 years' time. And also the graduate labour market will change and fluctuate as well. So those in-demand careers and skills will change. So really, if you've got a set career in mind, that's fantastic. But if you don't worry too much. Just concentrate on the next 1 to 2 years after graduation. What can you do in that time to build a portfolio of experiences and develop professionally? So self-awareness is key here. So to find out about your skills and your strengths and your preferred ways of working, there are 2 main things I'd recommend. The Prospects Career Planner is a short questionnaire. It takes about 10 minutes and you answer a couple of questions about your motivations and your professional interests and ambitions and skills and experiences. And Prospects matches you to potential sectors. Obviously take it with a pinch of salt, but it can be really good to help you start thinking about potential career avenues that you may not have thought of before. Profiling for success is really good as well. And as a University of Manchester student and recent graduate, so you can continue to access the career service for up to 2 years after you finish your course, you have free access to Profiling for Success. And that has lots of career inventories and personality questionnaires too. So that's always good. Then when you have developed that sense of self-awareness and you've reflected on your skills and experiences so far, you're ready to consider your options. So sometimes when you're not sure where to go next, it can be quite a good idea just to see what other people have done with your degree. The vast majority of jobs don't ask for a specific degree, discipline or subject. They just ask for a degree, and many of them a good degree. But it can be good just to give you a little bit of inspiration. So on the Prospects website, they have a list of options with your degree, whether your degree is necessary or it could be very useful. So that's a really good place to start as well if you're not sure. Then when you go back to that Prospects Career Planner and it's given you a couple of sectors that you could be well suited to, go onto our website and have a look at the Which Career pages, which is the first tab on our website. And there you can find out more information about the different careers, including the different roles within those sectors. So if you have a look at, say, the education section, there'll be more information on early years education, primary, secondary, further education, and also teaching English as a foreign language as well. And you can find out a little bit more about how you can develop those skills and experience and where to look for opportunities as well. Perhaps you've got your heart set on a particular sector. I'm just going to use, say media. You really want to break it into the media and pursue a career within there, but you're not sure exactly what roles are available within the media other than sort of your usual sort of broadcast journalist or editor, because the media is so vast. There's so many different roles, many that you wouldn't really even have heard of. So have a look at the Prospects job profiles section. The most useful bit, I think, of these job profiles are the skills needed, the expectations, so things like office hours or salaries, things like that, and employers. Employers is really useful. That's sort of major employers within the sector that hire graduates. So I definitely recommend having a look there. And speaking of employers, now is the time to engage with employers. If you go onto Career Connect, onto the events calendar, you will find loads of information about all the employers coming onto our virtual campus. Some are actually on campus, others are coming to virtual fairs and running virtual workshops, and they are really keen to engage with the University of Manchester students and graduates. So it could be a really good idea to just have a look at the employer events on Career Connect. You know, for example, I think Wednesday is our STEM fair, Thursday is our finance and consultancy fair. We've also got a public and third sector fair coming up. We've got a humanities fair coming up. I think it's maybe the start of November. So there's loads of opportunities to engage with employers. If you maybe missed an event, don't worry. The vast majority of our events are recorded events, are on our YouTube channel too. And then alumni, so you've got a chance to have a chat with some alumni later on today. But also it can be so useful to go onto your LinkedIn. If you don't have a LinkedIn profile, please do create one, and just go to the alumni tool. If we have time at the end, I'll show you how to use the alumni tool, because it's really, really invaluable. And you can search for employer, you can search for degree, title, even graduation year, and there you can find the list of alumni from the University of Manchester who have LinkedIn and have UOM on their profile, and what they've gone on to do. So it can be quite useful to maybe find an alumni, scroll to the bottom of their LinkedIn and see where they started. What was the first job after graduation, and how did that help them with their next step? We also have loads of events to help you connect with alumni too. They're called Meet the Professionals events, and I will talk about that in a minute. So careers fairs, here they are. So do you see what I mean about the links? So that's why it's so important to register, because we can send you this as sort of a workbook and you can just follow through the links automatically. You can, however, just search for these on the events calendar in Career Connect too. So this week we've got the STEM and Finance and Consultancy Fair, and then next week we've got the Public and Third Sector Fair. The Law Fair is mid-November, and we've got the Humanities Fair. I think that's the 11th of October. I'm sorry, it's the 11th of November. Is the Humanities Fair. That's just a typo. And then the alumni events, these were the Meet the Professionals events I was talking about. So these are when you, it's sort of like this, although you're put in groups of maybe 5 or 6 students, and you're put in a room with the alumni working in a particular sector, and you're able to ask them questions about their career trajectory so far, what they did at university to help them break into that sector, maybe if they have any tips for the application process. So we've actually got consulting today at lunchtime. Still places left, still time to register. Next week, myself and Sammy are running the Meet Professionals graduate schemes, so please do come along to that if you're interested in graduate schemes. We've got Science Outside the Lab at the start of November, as well as Charities and International too on the same month. So Meet the Professionals events are really, really great, and always remember to write down the names of the alumni or copy them somewhere, and then you can connect with them on LinkedIn afterwards, and just include a little connection request, a message with your connection request saying something like, you know, that you found their advice really useful in the event and you'd love to connect, or something like that. So a part of the exploration process is knowing where to find graduate jobs, and that sometimes can be the most difficult stage. It can be a good idea just to have a look at the jobs that are out there at the minute and consider to yourself, can I do this? Would I enjoy it? Remember, not forever. That your graduate job is not going to be your job forever. But can you do it, you know, over the next couple of years? Will you enjoy it? Will you learn from it? And just have a look what's out there and consider applying. So Career Connect is definitely your first port of call when you're looking for graduate jobs. So you can search for vacancies across a huge amount of sectors. I think there's something like 22 sectors, if not more actually, and locations across the globe as well. Then on our website, we've got a function called Graduate Job Search. And that's where you can find specific graduate job search websites. So a lot of people rely on websites like LinkedIn or Google or Indeed, and they can be good. You can find graduate level roles there, but there are also specific graduate level job search websites like Prospects, Target Jobs, Debut, Milkground, Grad Cracker. All these sorts of places are really good to look for graduate level roles. We've also got a list of over 200 targeted graduate job search websites by sector. So that's really good if you're really keen on a specific sector like engineering or research and development or finance, and you can look for specific roles within that sector. So for example, for marketing, advertising, copywriting roles, PR roles, campaign can be good, bubble jobs can be good, whereas you maybe wouldn't find engineering roles on those websites. So really do have a look at the specific websites as well, sector specific websites. And then of course you've got your sector body. So on the Which Career pages of our website, you will find some examples of professional membership bodies for specific disciplines or sectors. So you know, for marketing, you've got the Chartered Institute of Marketing. For HR, you've got the Chartered Institute of Personnel and Development. So, and there's also different bodies as well, not necessarily chartered institutes, but lots of regulatory bodies as well. They can be quite useful in terms of not only advertising graduate vacancies, but also sometimes they advertise free events. And that can be a really good way to start building your network and to find out a little bit more about different roles within specific sectors. And then we've got recruitment agencies. So we've got a specific section on recruitment agencies on our website. Sector-specific recruitment agencies can be really helpful in terms of particularly the more sort of competitive areas like environmental and consultancy, sustainability. They've got specific recruitment agencies to help with those areas. I wouldn't rely on recruitment agencies solely. I would use them in conjunction with other graduate job search methods, but they can be quite useful when you are looking for specific roles and sectors. Before though you have a look at recruitment agencies, read our guide to recruitment agencies, because that's just giving you a little bit more information about how you can be careful and find the right recruitment agency for you to use in supplement to other methods. And then also you can create your own opportunities. So of course this is sort of a big thing at the moment, because we are talking about tapping into the hidden job market. So only about 20% of jobs are advertised openly. About 70, it's hard to tell exactly, but about 70% of people in roles got their roles from networking and building contacts, and even just approaching the company and saying, do you have any opportunities available? And then the other 10% is through sort of social media and things like that. Yeah, even if, say, your dream company or your dream sector isn't hiring at the moment, it doesn't mean that there aren't necessarily opportunities available. So sometimes you just need to take the plunge and ask. So we've got lots of information on our website, and we could do a whole session about this, but we do have loads of information on our website about how you can begin to build your network and those professional contacts. LinkedIn is crucial when tapping into the hidden job market. So if you haven't created a LinkedIn, you can find out more about how to do that. And even if you do have LinkedIn but you don't really use it that much, there's loads of information on how you can use it more effectively. Social media and your personal brand is a massive one as well, in terms of building that network and creating those opportunities. So yeah, have a look on our website there. And also we've got a template, a speculative cover letter template. If you've maybe identified an organization that you really, really want to work for, really want to get some work experience for, and you want to apply speculatively. And that means that there's not a job advertised, but you're just putting forward your skills and your experience and seeing if there's any opportunities available. That's a speculative approach. So definitely have a look on our website if you want to find out a little more about that. So now we're moving on to phase 2, which is prepare. So I'm moving through this quite quickly. It's just sort of an overview of tools and resources available to help you now that you've identified where you are and where you want to get. But use the chat box if you've got questions throughout, and we'll come back at the end and answer any questions you have. Or at the end, you can always unmute yourself and ask the question too. So prepare, a good few if you were in the prepare stage, to be honest. So if you are at the prepare stage, you are thinking, okay, I'm either ready to take action, ready to start building my CV, building experience and building those skills, either to find out what I like, or either for a specific purpose to get into a particular sector or different role, specific graduate scheme or specific role. So this is sort of the stage before apply, when you're sort of building that employability and those skills and those experiences. So firstly, have a look at the skills that you do already have, because chances are you do have a lot of skills already, and we will talk about some work examples. So we've got a skills audit on our website, and it's really useful just to help you think about what you've done and the skills that you've developed. So definitely have a look at that. I think it's called the employability audit on our website, actually. Extracurriculars, if you're in your final year or you're starting your master's or you're coming to the end of your PhD, it's definitely not too late to get some leadership experience and teamwork experience through a society. And you could maybe take up a leadership position, which will contribute to Stellify. And you can sit on a committee as perhaps a general secretary, or a treasurer, or a social sec. All these sorts of things will look really, really good on your CV. And also they'll give you something to talk about in interviews. So definitely don't rule out some extracurriculars in your final year. Online courses, so we've got a list of free and low cost online courses on our website. They are external courses, but these can be really useful if you, for example, are really keen on say you're doing economics and philosophy, and you're really keen to break into finance. This is just an example. So you'll be covering loads in philosophy and economics that will be relevant either directly or indirectly to a graduate career in finance. But maybe you need some specific experience or knowledge of financial markets or different types of investments. You could go on something like Future Learn or the Open University that has a list of free online courses, and just type in sort of financial markets or finance or financial consultancy and see what comes up. And often you will find a huge array of online courses, often accredited by universities across the world. A lot of them are free. Some of them are 2 hours a week for 2 weeks. Some of them are 4 hours a week for 6 weeks. But it can be quite good to do alongside. Obviously, your priority is your degree, but if you're not sort of if you're keen to get into a sector that maybe isn't directly related to your degree, but you know what that is, that could be great to have alongside your CV. And also, it just shows that you have a genuine interest in that area and you're using your initiative and you're going out to build those skills and build that knowledge that you need to talk about in interviews and things like that. Also, I was talking to a graduate the other day who did a free online course in coding, and that really helped with one of his assessments for graduate scheme because they had to do some coding. So even stuff like that could be brilliant. There's loads of free online coding courses too. And of course, volunteering. Volunteering will never steer you wrong. So it boosts your confidence. It gives you a chance to meet other like-minded people. You give back, you expand your network, you gain skills. And remote volunteering counts as well. So lots of organisations do have online volunteering opportunities, perhaps even half an hour a week or an hour a week. So volunteering is really good to have on your CV, even if you feel it's not directly relevant to what you want to do. It's so good to talk about in interviews because it shows a sense of social responsibility and awareness, but as well, you can use it to talk about teamwork or task delegation or public speaking or organizational time management skills, all those sorts of things. Work experience. So work experience is crucial in a lot of areas to break into specific areas, and it can come in many forms like work shadowing, virtual work experience, internships. Work experience is fantastic. Not only does it give you an insight into particular sectors, so you can try it out and say, okay, do I like this? Can I imagine myself doing this? But also the contacts that you'll make through work experience, even if you say do work experience within a charity, but you maybe don't want to work for charity, maybe you want to go into education or teaching. That still, those transferable skills and experiences are invaluable. A note about virtual work experience, because in appointments I've talked to some people who haven't heard of virtual work experience, and it is absolutely great. So we've teamed up with an organisation called Forage, and they work with large corporate, often multinational graduate recruiters who have developed short online self-paced work experience programs. They take usually 5 or 6 hours to complete across a huge variety of sectors. So we've got climate change, audit, design and branding, human rights, business law, consultancy, technology consultancy, software engineering. There's absolutely loads. It's all free for University of Manchester students and recent graduates, and it's a really good opportunity to have something to talk about in interviews, to leverage in interviews, to have a big company name on your CV like Clifford Chance or Deloitte or PwC, and you can do it in your own time. and they're self-paced as well. So you could do an hour a week over the next 5 weeks, for example, and you can do as many as you want. So virtual work experience is absolutely fantastic to get on your CV, and I definitely encourage you to have a look at that as well. And then last but not least, part-time jobs. So a lot of people are weary about putting their part-time jobs on their CVs. And I always tell them that absolutely do not be weary, talk about it, because your part-time job at least shows that you can balance, you've got the time management, organizational, multitasking skills to be able to balance work and full-time study or part-time study. But also you just come across different people that will help boost your skills and your employability and your confidence. And of course, if nothing else, you'll earn some extra money as well. So just a little bit, a note about this really. So with your extracurriculars, so say you're social secretary for the Hockey Society, and as part of that role, you organise the summer ball, and you also promoted different events, maybe get-togethers or Zoom meetups or bar nights on social media. So some people would think, okay, well, that's not relevant to a degree in consultancy. I want to be a technology consultant, and that's not relevant. Actually, it is very, very relevant. And you should talk about it in interviews and leverage it on your applications as well. Because if you think to yourself, okay, I did all these things, but what did I do specifically? So you organize the summer ball, add in specifics, start with active verbs on your CV. So you organized or you coordinated the organization, if you were working with a team, of the summer ball. How many people attended the summer ball? How large or small was the team that you worked in? So you coordinated the organization of the summer ball for 150 society members as part of a team of 5. Instead of just promoting events on social media, think about the specifics, add quantifiable information to add credibility to your experiences. So you devised and delivered a social media campaign which enhanced engagement, say by 30%. This is just an example. So this is how you should be talking in interviews and your CV and your application forms and cover letters about different things like this. But then crucially, why are you telling the recruiter this? Recruiters will read so many applications, you really need to spell it out to them why your experiences and your skills and your knowledge make you an excellent candidate for this role. So how did organising the summer ball make you a great candidate for this role? Well, it enabled you to develop teamwork skills. You were working as part of a team of 5. You coordinated the event, so you displayed leadership skills. What does leadership and teamwork entail? Well, there's a lot of task delegation. There's a lot of, unfortunately, conflict resolution, and which can be a good thing. There's a lot of organisation needed. And then the same with the social media campaign. This will have developed your creativity, your copywriting skills across communication skills, both written and verbal, and of course just your awareness and your usage of social media too. And then similarly to volunteering, so say you're an online maths tutor, so you maybe teach, I just use this, you taught 2 pupils and supported them with their Key Stage 2 maths, maybe after school. So this would involve setting them homework and planning different sessions as well. So this is what you did. This is your volunteering experience, but what did you specifically do? So be specific. Think about it, break down your responsibilities and really think about what you did for each one. So as you supported your 2 pupils with the Key Stage 2 maths, you designed and delivered, for example, 30-minute intensive online tutoring sessions for 2 Key Stage 2 maths pupils over a period of 6 weeks. So that's an intensive series of online sessions for a period of 6 weeks, and you designed them, so you put them together, but you also delivered them. You supported the students by working through that. And your responsibilities as part of that would have included lesson planning, but also tailoring your lessons to suit the pupils' needs and where they were in their learning journey. Now we need to think about why this makes you a great candidate for a specific role, regardless of the industry. So again, excellent organisation skills will be needed as an online maths tutor. You will have developed the ability to motivate others, which is a great leadership a great aspect of leadership. Public speaking will be a massive one here. Learning to adapt your communication style, which is great for things, well, it's actually essential for a whole host of different sectors. Your active listening skills will will be honed through this type of role. Your problem solving, leadership, your innovative thinking, even your ability to think on the spot and adapt and you know, work under pressure effectively and efficiently. Last worked example here is part-time work. So say you're doing part-time work as a bartender, so you're working as part of a team, you're preparing different beverages, you're interacting with customers throughout your shift, and also you're responsible for replenishing stock too. So again, let's add the specifics. So you worked as part of a team of 6 to ensure high standards of customer service in a busy environment. So what sort of responsibilities did you have? Let's break down sort of interacting with customers and preparing beverages to taking and preparing orders, while simultaneously designing different promotions, for example, and stock inventory as well. And what did you gain from this that makes you a great candidate for the role? Time management, ability to work to tight timescales in busy, hectic environments, which is so important. Resilience is really important as well. Communication, customer service, which is a key part of a lot of roles, or client service, and multitasking, teamwork, attention to detail. All these things you will have gained through this particular experience. So now we're moving on to apply. So a good few of you are at the apply stage, although not all of you, but as time goes on, you will all find yourself at this stage eventually. So let's get stuck in. So first with apply, well, you'll know yourselves if you have started applying that you will be required to submit a CV or a cover letter or a personal statement. Just depend, or all 3 really, and there's different application and recruitment stages. You could have a one-to-one interview, you could have group interviews, psychometric tests, video interviews, phone interviews, group assessment centres. It could be one or all of these. We have loads of advice on our applications and interview section of our website, so definitely have a look there. We also regularly run different workshops on Career Connect to help you get application ready, to help you prepare for applications. And we do have a cover letter and CV session coming up. I think it's on Wednesday, the 13th of October, and there is a link in this to that. Career Set, if you haven't used Career Set, definitely use it. So you can use it as many times as you want, and you feed in your CV or your cover letter for a specific role, or even just a general CV, and you get instant personalized feedback on your CV. So as I said, you can use it as many times as you want, whenever, wherever you want, and always aim for a score of 70% or above. So you could submit it and maybe get a score of 36, follow the feedback that it gives you, submit it again, you could get 56, follow the feedback, submit it again, you could be on to 76. So that is a really good, useful resource and a good sort of first port of call when you're looking at applications. If you are looking at graduate schemes at the minute, chances are you will have been asked to complete some psychometric tests. We've got loads of free psychometric practice tests on Graduates First that you have access to as a student and a recent graduate, and the University of Manchester has a license, so you may as well make use of that free service. And as you know, psychometric tests cover so many things: critical reasoning, verbal reasoning, numerical reasoning, we've got situational judgment tests, gamified assessments. There's so many, it's all included there. Shortlist Me is available to help you practice video interviews on demand and get some instant feedback. And you can also get one-to-one advice. So as well as the 30-minute or 60-minute career guidance appointments, you can book a 30-minute practice interview or an interview simulation, and also 20-minute application advice appointment to get one-to-one feedback on your application form, your LinkedIn profile, your further study personal statement, your CV, your cover letter with an application advisor. So examples of some of our upcoming events. So Wednesday's a busy day. My colleague Amanda is running Prepare for Situational Judging Tests, which is really useful if you're going through the graduate scheme selection process at the minute. If you're thinking about cover letters and or CVs, sorry, then have a look at our Apply Now sessions that my colleague Sophie's running. We've got psychometric tests coming up next week, and myself and Sammy are also running a session in 2 weeks' time, outlining the different skills graduate employers want, because there are specific skills that they're looking for at the moment in graduates that maybe they haven't been looking for before, and crucially, how to identify these skills and get them in your final year or as a recent graduate. So a whistle-stop tour, and we've got about 20 minutes at the moment now. So I'm going to hand over to our alumni panel, and we've got a selection, as I said, of alumni today who I'll let introduce themselves. So we will start with, just in the order of the screen, I'll let you all introduce yourselves, starting with Barris.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you, Jenny. So yeah, I'm Barris. I'm currently the International Talent Assistant, and what I did as my undergrad was history, and I graduated in 2020.
Hi, I'm Sammy. I graduated in 2020 as well, and I did a MA Medieval and Early Modern Studies, and I work in the Graduate Transitions team with Jenny.
Hi everyone, my name's Chloe and I am the student advisor at the Career Service. I started in January 2021, and before I was in this role, I was doing a part-time job in retail. I graduated in 2019 and I did biomedical sciences.
Hi everyone, I'm Emma. So I am currently working for the University of Manchester as a student engagement and enterprise assistant in the career service. That's like marketing and social media. I graduated from the university in December 2020 in MA in arts management, and prior to doing my masters I had 2 years out before from completing my undergraduate degree.
That's great. Thank you so much, everyone. So if you have any questions for our panel or any questions about the session, please do use the chat box. But I have a couple of questions to get us started off. So obviously what you're doing now, all of you within professional services, whether that's events management or marketing or business development or administration, is very different to what you studied. How easy did you find it to transfer your academic experience and the skills you gain from your degrees onto interviews and applications for these kinds of roles? Anyone's welcome to take that one.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a tough one.
I can start off if you'd like. So I'm actually from like a creative background. So I actually studied an art and design degree at Leeds, so not in Manchester. And then I was thinking about my career pathway and like journey, and then thought that I needed to get a bit more specialist education and knowledge and experience. So that's why I decided to explore my different options and then went on to do my masters. I completed a master's in arts management. So a little bit about that is it's like working in like the cultural creative sector, but I graduated during COVID. So I was studying the same as Sammy. We both finished our masters in a really weird time for the cultural sector. So I think I thought to myself, what can I do to gain skills to help me in my future career? Maybe it might not be the exact sector, but the transferable skills that you mentioned in the presentations, thinking about how I can transfer that into a different role. So I thought about organisation, office experience, gaining skills that I can transfer. So my role is about like student engagement. So if I think long term, not at the moment, but maybe how I could look at maybe community engagement in the arts sector, or look at maybe how to get people to engage for art in arts, or maybe I look at in my current role now, I do lots of engaging for events, workshops, promotion. Well, every art organisation has the same type of promotion. So it was like looking at things like that. So even though it's not the same sector, there's a lot of things that I can then maybe after completing my MGT in my current role, go on to apply and in a future career. I don't know if that answers your question, Jenny, if you want me to expand on anything.
No, very much so. Thank you. It is about sort of thinking of maybe if you can't get to where you immediately want to go, how can you get a little bit closer and develop those skills and experience that will be useful. There is a question here, Emma, asking what you did between your undergraduate and your masters in that time.
So if I'm being totally honest, I finished my undergraduate and was like, I really need a break from education. I think quite a lot of people get fatigued sometimes from studying. It's a really hard time, like going straight from education from A-levels straight through to, I did an art foundation and then did my degree. I was like, I just need a bit of time for me. So I actually just worked. I had a job in retail, so I did lots of visual merchandising, stuff like that in a shop in Manchester City Centre. So that's why I chose to do my master's here, and I kind of knew I wanted to be based here for the cultural sector. So yeah, I did like management skills, gain experience of like mentoring like new members of the team, and then gained like responsibility like being a key holder, and then just things like that. So yeah, I just worked in retail in a shop, but it gained so much that I could then put in an application and like things for like different future careers. And I gained a lot about myself. Them 2 years helped me think, well, where do I want to be? How am I going to get there? And what do I need to do? And that's why I then went on to do my MA.
Brilliant, thank you. And there's a question here for Chloe about how you found the transition from obviously a STEM-based subject to working in professional services. Did you find it was quite easy to talk about how useful your degree was when looking for something outside the lab, or was that something that you struggled with, Chloe?
I found it quite a smooth transition personally. I was always in the position where I didn't actually know really what I wanted to do after my biomed degree, but I was aware that I actually didn't want to continue anything in a lab-based situation. So I was almost trying to clutch at everything that I had that was not lab based. So all the experience of like transferable skills that I'd learned in other parts of my course, in like tutorials and group presentations and things like that. So I found it quite smooth. One thing that did help me a lot was I got into the practice of writing down almost everything that I was doing, all the projects that I was involved in, and all the new skills that I learned. So writing down all the skills, it meant that I had that record. So then when I was ready to start applying to jobs and updating my cover letter and my CV, I had it all down and I knew what exactly I'd done. I hadn't forgotten anything, and it was just all together. So I found it okay, but it was just one of them things where I was in that position where I wasn't actually sure what I did want to do anyway. So I was kind of trying to keep an open mind and seeing what experience I had, how I could develop them transferable skills and then apply it to positions that I was interested in applying for as well.
That's great. That's a really good tip about writing down everything that you did and identifying the different skills that you've gained from that. That would be quite useful when it comes to writing applications and interviews, because over a 3 or 4 year degree or 1 or 2 year master's degree, it's so easy to forget, isn't it, what you did?
Yeah, it is, because you're so busy in final year with everything as well, like your dissertation and exams. So I just found it really helpful just to keep a track of everything that I was doing.
That's great. Thank you so much. And for Barres and Sammy, thinking back to your final year, you both did history, so obviously very humanities. Was there anything you did in your final year that you thought was quite useful, or looking back, did you think, oh, I could have done this?
For me personally, so with history, you get to choose what you want to specialize in into your final year. So that kind of helped. It kind of helped shape what maybe I would want to do in the future, in terms of I done my focus on economic history. So give me sort of a insight into maybe going into a sector where there's economics or a job based around that in finance. And then just in terms of what I did in terms of preparing was I just started to apply to graduate schemes just to get familiar with this sort of process and interviews and video interviews and all the stages. So you're confident, you're comfortable with it. And then by the time maybe you find a job that you really want, you'll already be comfortable and you won't be finding a daunting experience to do any of the stages.
That's great. Yeah, practice always makes things easier, doesn't it? And when you've been through the interview process a couple of times, then it does help you become more confident and know what to say and how to say it and things like that. Thank you. And what about you, Sammy?
I think like Barres, having that sort of very specific final year and then in my master's sort of projects have helped me know what I wanted to sort of do next. But then because of COVID, that wasn't really an option. Like Emma mentioned, humanities and sort of the cultural institutions were just closed. So it was sort of looking for something that used the skills that I would need in the future, but was available at the time almost. And as for something I wish I'd done, because I was meant to do a placement in my during my master's, but because of COVID that didn't happen. So, but all the skills that I would have got would be really useful now. So I think if you have the opportunity to do a placement, even if it's just a couple of weeks, take it, because it would have been so useful for me.
Yeah, work experiences. So I think it's easy to underestimate how important it is, regardless of what form it takes. You know, as Sammy said, there are placement in academic or placement within your academic course, or even just a week's work shadowing, or a week's volunteering somewhere, or part-time work somewhere. That is also important and is really useful to put on your CV and your LinkedIn and things like that. And you're all obviously on Manchester Graduate Talent. What would you how would you explain MGT to someone who a final year student maybe who isn't sure what it is, and what are the benefits of undertaking a graduate internship through MGT? I guess maybe Chloe is the best person to talk about MGT in general, but I suppose this audience, the final year, it would be MGT 2022, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the Manchester Graduate Talent Programme is basically a programme that we run at the Career Service, and it's managed by a small team. And what we do is we advertise graduate entry-level jobs for graduates and finalists. So if you're a finalist now, you will be interested in the MGT 2022 programme. So that would be open to 2021 graduates and 2022 finalists. And the opportunities that we promote they don't really ask for a specific degree discipline. What they want is a list of skills that they would advertise in the job description, and these would be transferable skills that they would like you to evidence in your application. So they'd ask you to submit a cover letter and a CV, basically just evidencing all the skills that they are looking for you to be able to apply and submit an application for that vacancy. There are lots of different vacancies that we promote, so there are all based across Greater Manchester, across a wide range of sectors and lots of different roles. Some are within the university itself as well. A lot of student engagement roles and widening participation roles. There are also a lot of marketing roles as well. So they're a really, really great opportunity to have that first graduate entry-level job sorted once you've graduated, and gain some experience in the workplace and building up your skills and confidence so you can think about the next thing in your future career journey as well.
Absolutely, and they can act as such a good springboard, can't they, for whatever's next, depending on if people want to go into totally different sectors. Chloe said, getting that office-based experience is so essential and so useful for so many different sectors. And just a question about, obviously we're hosting an alumni panel, and you're the alumni, but a couple of years ago you would have been, or a year or two ago you would have been, the students. How easy did you find engaging with employers and alumni through, I guess at that stage, face-to-face events, although there might have been a couple of online events? And if you found it nerve-wracking, do you have any tips for people that maybe struggle to network and to find out about different sectors by asking people directly?
Is that one for me, Jenny? Sorry.
Oh, sorry, the whole panel. Sorry.
I would say it is something that I do wish that I had done more of in my final year. So I think it kind of links in with LinkedIn advice and the profile. So I did make a profile myself in final year, but I never actually used it. I never then did anything with it, and it's something that I wish I had done. So I think if you are wanting to push yourself and network with people more, and you're nervous to make that first step, LinkedIn is probably a really good way to start that off, because once you've built up your confidence with it, it is such a great resource to use, and you can really find great contacts in your sectors that you're interested in, and have conversations with people that you are interested in their opportunities or the company and the events that they're running. So I think getting comfortable with LinkedIn is a good first step, in my opinion, and it's something that I wish that I had done. And there are lots of good advice on the careers website as well that can help you build up your LinkedIn profile and kind of take you step by step on what you can do with that.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, I was just going to add on to like what Chloe said. When I was studying at Manchester, I attended one of the Meet the Professional events, and it was a really good opportunity. It was like your traditional in-person event in the atrium, and was really like nice, like it was a really nice vibe. But there were so many people there that it was quite often hard to directly speak to the alumni. So obviously, if you've got to catch the train, which I did afterwards, I couldn't really hang around much. So even though it's great to have in-person events, online ones are just as good because everyone's got an equal opportunity. You can reach out directly to the person, even if you're in a chat here and find something really interesting that someone said, or like what I said, or any of my colleagues, you could message us directly and just be like, that was really interesting, can you expand? Or you could maybe attend an event. We run an amazing like selection of workshops, events, Meet the Professionals. If you find something really inspiring, you could message the person, like Chloe said, on LinkedIn and just be like, that was really good. That was a really good insight. Do you have any advice? And I think you get that bit more of a connection because you're directly then messaging you and then they recognize your name. So there's nothing wrong with it being online because there's actually benefits. And if you're a bit shy or don't feel confident going up to someone, it can be like a really good thing to have that for chat box, which we wouldn't have had in person, to just like reach out. So there's definitely benefits of like online events, I think.
That's great. Thanks, Emma and Chloe. And also we do have so many online events at the moment that no matter where you are, at what stage that you identified earlier, there will be events for you, whether that's a careers workshop or a fair, or an employer or alumni session as well. So I'm just conscious of time here, but to close off the session, if I could ask each of you just to share one snippet of advice for final year students at the moment, so that they're start of their final year. Obviously they're, you know, everyone's thinking about you know, getting as good a degree as possible, but also in the back of your mind you're probably thinking what's next. So do you have any advice on how to boost skills or explore different sectors, or even time management, anything like that? So if we go sort of in order of the screen again, which is easiest probably.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So my advice would be, personally, I had a part-time job and I found that really helped, but on top of that, I wasn't very like connected to the career service or anything. So now working here, like I understand how much it could have benefited me. And it's not so much like an interrogation of, oh, if you don't know what you want to do, it's more or less just guidance and trying to boost your employability and helping you. So I'd say get involved in like the career service. Even if you do know what you want to do, it's always going to help.
Absolutely, thank you. And if you do want to talk to a careers consultant, as Barra said there, just as for general guidance, please do book a 30-minute appointment, and you can do that on Career Connect. Thank you. We'll move on to Sammy.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what Barra said. More sort of specific, I think if you are starting to think about looking for a job, or even if it's just looking for a part-time job, look at using Shortlist.me, where you can practice interviews or book a practice interview appointment. Because like personally, I don't like interviews. I find them really they terrify me, to be honest. So having that practice and getting used to calming yourself down and answering the questions, the sooner you start that, the better you're going to be at it by the time you're actually applying for graduate jobs.
That's brilliant. Thank you, Sammy. And you're totally right. Interviews are often very unnatural experiences, so they can be quite awkward. And also, I think a lot of us aren't used to sort of promoting ourselves, that self-promotion. So the more practice, the better, really, with that. And Shortlist.me, as Sammy said, is a great resource. And also, if you have an upcoming interview, book an interview simulation or practice interview on Career Connect, and that's where the careers consultant takes the role of the interviewer and asks you questions based on the job description and gives you feedback on your answers. So it is a great resource. Thank you. And moving on to Chloe.
Yeah, so what I would say is it touches a lot on what Barry said, and that is booking a careers guidance appointment. I did that in my final year as I was in the position where I didn't know what I actually wanted to do. I was really, really burying my head in the sand with it. I was terrified by thinking about the future. But booking the careers guidance appointment with the careers consultant, it was really, really beneficial for me, and it helped me calm me down a lot as well. So it kind of a lot of the big questions I was thinking about and made me manage that. So just simple things we talked about was what skills that I had already, what I was interested in doing, and what I enjoyed doing as part of my course, and then seeing small actions that I could take to think about the future and improving my applications and thinking about what my next step was going to be. So I definitely recommend booking a careers guidance appointment if you haven't already done one.
Oh, that's fab. Thank you, Chloe. And you can book them on Career Connect. You can book faculty specific appointments. You can book appointments specifically for international students and graduates or postgraduate students. And remember, you can continue to access the career service for up to 2 years after you graduate. So not relevant now in your final year, but this time next year. Don't worry, your access to the career service continues for up to 2 years after you complete your course. And last but not least, Emma.
I'd probably say my advice is definitely like not to be afraid of knowing. It's all right to know that you don't really know what you want to do in 12 months time and in 5 years time, I'm sure. And also like not to compare yourself to your peers and your friends. It's so easy to think, well, we did the same course, why have they got a job and I haven't? Everyone's on their own pathway. And everyone's on their own journey, and things will always work out, and you might have to like gain some skills doing something else, but that's okay. No one's like comparable. So I definitely say, like, if you are, like Chloe said, a bit uncertain and don't really have an idea, I didn't, it's fine. And I've gone on now to do a master's and got a graduate job, and it's just taken me a little bit longer, but that's okay. So like, it's all right to like think that and just try and gain as much experience. It probably builds on what Barras and Sammy said, like gain as much experience from the career service while you can. Go to events, network. There's all these amazing things. It probably seems a bit overwhelming when you've got examinations and stuff, but yeah, just try and get involved, and that might help you figure out what your next steps are.
That's great. Thank you, Emma. And that is, if you're feeling overwhelmed and you're not really sure where to start, you want to pick something that is as helpful as possible and as useful as possible, instead of doing 10 things, doing one proper thing. And if you're not sure of that, do book that careers guidance appointment, or just take one action, even if it is just attending one event or making a LinkedIn profile. Doing something is better than doing nothing, as Emma said. Thank you so much. So we're going to finish off here, but just an example of further support and resources. We've got careers pages specifically for graduates and for final years. There's more information on how you can register for vacancy and events alerts on Career Connect. And also remember, if you are feeling a bit overwhelmed, or you're just really not sure what to do next with whatever phase or stage you're at, do come and talk to us and book a careers guidance meeting. We do have a large presence on social media, and we've recently launched an Instagram account, so please do follow us and stay connected, and there you'll be sort of the first to find out about different events and resources and initiatives that we're taking. So YouTube, Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, do follow us there. And you probably won't have heard of Graduate Outcomes Survey, but 15 months after you graduate, you'll be contacted to fill in a survey called the Graduate Outcomes Survey. It takes about 10 minutes. You can do it on your phone, you can do it via email as well, and it is the largest annual social survey in the UK. So it's really useful for lots of different reasons. It gives you a chance to have your say about your degree and what graduate success means to you, whether that's going on to a graduate scheme, or going on to an internship, or going on to further study, or taking some time out to travel and relax. And it helps us tailor our career support for students and graduates from knowing where you go next. And also just gives you a chance to feedback on your course, how you found it, how you found career support, and what we can do to improve it as well. And lots of governmental organisations, charities, policymakers, researchers, journalists use results of the Graduate Outcomes Survey when creating higher education policy. So it is your chance to sort of influence those key decision makers and influence higher education policy. So do keep an eye out for Graduate Outcomes Survey when the time is approaching. So thank you so much for being such a fantastic audience. Remember that today's session will be on the Career Service YouTube channel, but if you have any questions, feel free to drop us an email contact us via the live web chat, which is staff from 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday. You can also ask us a question via queries on Career Connect as well. So if you have any follow-up questions, feel free to contact us via those means, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. So thank you so much to our panelists today for taking time out to have a chat with us. Their insights and perspectives were really useful, and I found it really, really helpful. And also thank you to all our participants as well. We hope you enjoyed the session. Thank you so much, everyone. Take care.